Okay, hello guys. We're back again with the third episode of Craft Only. I did what I said I would. Ran up to Razor Hill just to learn my first aid, blacksmithing and smelting, and we're back here. I won't lie though, I found one node on the way and grabbed 3 copper and 1 rough stone. We've also got the mining pick and the blacksmith's hammer now, so we are ready to start. To be fair, I probably should have picked up Course Burden as I ran up to Razor Hill. But you know what? Mama didn't raise no quitter. But also at the same time, I probably should be just hard checking the side of cliffs just to make sure that I can get all of those nodes. And speaking of, there's one just over here. So let's just head straight over, grab this, and honestly, I can't remember if there is a blacksmithing table in Senju Village. I don't think there is. So this might be a very hard first few quests. So we're going to try and do this. If I could stop messing up my mining. Because one thing we are definitely going to need is these rough sharpening stones. So what they do is give +2 damage to your auto attacks. And that may not seem like a lot, but it is early game. Okay, and this is one of the things that I wish they had kept going forward in current retail WoW. So, you do tend to get stones in retail WoW, but they don't tend to really do much. If anything, I think in BFA you could use some of them just to work on like movement speed or staying on your mount while mounted and things like that. And another thing that I do miss as well is shield spikes. Shield spikes were a great addition to the game. Now, this might seem a little bit controversial, but I'm going to sell this tug side. It's 1 silver, and I can't see myself needing it at this point. So, a few of the quests I've just grabbed. A Peon's Burden was one I already had. Report to Ergnil, Solvent Spirit, and Practical Prey. So a lot of these are actually quite hard quests for warriors, especially if you don't have any gear. So what I'm going to do is we're going to test the waters almost. So I'm going to throw a rough sharpening stone on my one battle axe, the only item I do have equipped that gives any type of stat, and we're going to head down to the beach. Okay. Don't worry, I know there's a fishing trainer over there. I'm going to go pick that up at some point, and I'm going to do a lot of fishing, possibly off camera. So let's see how we do in terms of pygmy surf crawlers. You know what? I'm not doing too bad, to be fair. We've actually just completely walked that one. Lost nearly no health. Maybe this is just due to how the scaling works in Burning Crusade Classics, because they did speed up leveling. By that as well, they could have possibly just made mobs a lot weaker as well. I'm not honestly sure. I don't really keep up to date with the update text, but I seem to be creating quite a lot as well. Now, a lot of people sleep on Rend. I think Rend is one of the best abilities a warrior gets at early level, because it is a guaranteed 15 damage. 15 damage may not sound like a lot, but that's automatically 1 auto attack. So as long as you have the rage for it and you can get it on, you've effectively got an extra auto attack over those 3 seconds you're in combat. Crit again. Wow. So yeah, well, this seems to be going pretty well, despite the fact that I have no armor, especially when mobs run away as well. So that crawler tried to run away and died to the rend damage, which is why I think it's still an amazing ability, and I wish it was in retail as good as it used to be. I know there are things such as deep wounds for arms warriors, and I think they did re-add rend at some point, but it wasn't what it was originally. Okay, so I'm just going to keep killing these pygmy surf crawlers. Oh, we found a food crate as well. That's always good, especially as a warrior, because food is something you need a lot of. I do know there is a level 20 somewhere just up here, but I'm not going to risk going anywhere near that. So what we got was Sliver Skin Mackerels. So that's a nice little 61 health food. One thing I've always enjoyed about WoW is when you're underwater, the music as well as the sound tends to mute everything that is above water. We have 3 more raw sliver skin. We only get 30 though. To be fair, this shouldn't be too hard. However, I do need to keep an eye on my health, obviously, just because. Oh, resist dodge parry. I just got the bona fide trio of getting nerfed, but I also got a crit, so it all works out in the end. Obviously, the hardest part of this quest in the early game is getting those intact Makura eyes. I know in retail they removed the intact Makura eye part of this quest, so all you really had to get was just Crawler Mucus, and I think it was only ever 3 that you need to get. And obviously as well, just because obviously I'm below level 10. Oh god, that was not what I wanted to do. But I should be able to take them just because of how easy it is at this point below level 10. Once you hit above level 10, obviously it starts getting a lot harder. Mobs hit harder as well. You can see I'm also struggling on my health at the moment. I'm going to pop another end just to make sure that my next auto kills. Now, I'm going to pop Cat's Apple Surprise, make sure that goes all the way through. There is a small tent somewhere that direction where I can go and learn fishing. Right, we've got the buff, let's go. I am going to beeline for any of these Makuras because getting this quest done is very important. I don't think I'm very strong enough yet to go and dance with the tigers on the Echo Isles as well as the Minchina and Zalazin quests. Usually, whenever I do tend to play Burning Crusade Classic or even just regular Classic, I try to do those in a party. Only because at that time, quest respawns were a bit of a joke. They would respawn almost about 12 seconds after killing a mob, and when you're playing a warrior and you're relying heavily on food or healing and materials, it gets a bit dicey. But having another person there does make it easy. But however, I'm not planning on being able to join other people. I want this to be a purely solo experience, dealing with things that I can. And if I come across a quest I can't deal with solo, I may just leave it and come back to that at a future point. Just leaving it in my quest log. Okay, and then we're going to start running into that issue of swing and a miss. However, if we can start getting some hit, that would be pretty good. However, I don't think there are very many items that can give hit below level 60. But as you saw then, my auto attack was dodged. But I think at level 14 we get Overpower, which is a great ability to help deal with misses. And this is one of those reasons why I wish I reapplied that rend. Because when they run and you swing, and it's either a miss or it leaves them on 1 health, the rend will finish them off to prevent them from pulling other mobs. Parry is also something that we are looking forward to getting because at level 10 we can purchase the parry skill, and that gives a complete, I believe it's less than 3% chance to completely negate all damage by parrying when you're facing an enemy. Every damage reduction thing we can take, well, optimizing our optimum damage potential is a boon for us at this point. So now, as you can see, I'm at 107, mobs at 120. I wouldn't normally try and take a mob as long as it's got more health than me. Obviously because mobs do hit a lot weaker than we do, the player, but also just because swing and a miss can happen 3 times in a row, especially playing warrior. If you've ever played the original Classic WoW, this can be the difference between life and death, as I believe they made it a bit more common to hit in Burning Crusade. I remember one time when I was leveling a warrior, in Classic WoW. I was doing, it was a human warrior up in Elwyn Forest at Crystal Lake, and I was pulled 2 Murlocs, and I thought, you know what, maybe I can do this. But I swung misses 3 times in a row and eventually died because I could not outrun the mobs and had a cooldown on my healing potions. So obviously as a warrior you need to be very mindful of your pulling numbers and also your health. So especially in this situation where I'm on 50 health, I don't want a random Makora respawn to mess me up, although I highly doubt that will happen. There's the dreaded miss I've just spoke about. So obviously there's those other quests such as thwarting Kolkar aggression, which is one I tend to usually do before I even attempt the Echo Isle quests, because these mobs tend to all be around 9 or 10 level. So what I would normally do is finish this quest, head up to Razor Hill, do the first level quests there, and make my way back down here once I finish those and finish these off. So all I need right now is the intact Makura Eye, which shouldn't be too hard to get now, considering it's usually the only aggressive mob I need to fight. I'm also a stickler for not keeping well enough attention on my battle shout uptime, which is something you definitely should do, because it is one of the things that makes warriors extremely easy to level up. But there we go, we've got that 4th intact Makura Eye, and there's another copper vein over here. I will also pick up fishing while I'm here as well, but we don't really want to get too tangled up in a lot of these scorpids, because we will need those later. So at this point, we are up to 7 copper. So what that means for us is we at least have 2 pieces of gear already set out for us. So we can either get the rough copper chest or the pants. I mean, looking at the armor values, I will go with the pants and then the bracers, and then that will absolutely set us up.
Stay away from the
Okay, so there we go. We've now got fishing as well. What I tend to do is I like to flick up onto my second bar and throw fishing on there. Obviously, because it is non-retail, you will need a fishing pole no matter what to fish. So that's 1 extra slot I will not have available in my inventory. So you always want to try and max min the amount of inventory slots you have to prioritize monetary value as well as crafting value. And one good freshwater place to fish is literally right here in Senjin Village. This is one of the few freshwater places you can actually fish in Durotar. Now, really sticky glue renders the user unable to move for 10 seconds. Most people think this is one of the best items to keep up until late game. However, I disagree. I would rather have the raw monetary value this early into the game. So we'll make our last rough sharpening stone. And at this point, when I did go to Razor Hill, I did set my halfstone there. Now, although in the classic version of this game, the halfstone does have a 1 hour cooldown, I think this is entirely worth it just to half up here, because the amount of time it does save you running. And then you can do this, get some more food. And because we've already got 2 different half stacks of food, I do tend to sell the bread. As well as the mackerel.
go forth to victory.
Now there are a lot of quests here, and one thing we do want to pick up is cooking. However, cooking is not something you can actually learn in Razor Hill. Dark Storms, that is something we are not doing for a long time. So let's just untrack the quest, because that is not something we would not even be able to solo until around level 11. I will pick up every other quest that is currently here, as well as pick up these water barrels and food crates wherever I can, because although they're only around 5 or so copper, sometimes they are usable in food recipes. So,
What do you need? For the whole.
one example, refreshing spring water you buy for 24 copper, but you can get one for free. And just sell the 5 for 5 copper. I don't necessarily need it right now, but it's just something to be mindful of in the future. Because, as I said, some food recipes will require drinks. One that I can think of is clam chowder and boiled clams, which are a great food item early game because you can get them. And then, obviously, your clam meat from your small barnacle clams. And they do make good food because they give 243 HP over that timer. So I can go and pick up 4 scroll bars, carry your weight. However, I would like to just obviously get our first bits of gear moving. So I'm going to pick up the rough copper vest. And I know I said I was going to pick up the bracers, however I will pick up the pants, just because I have that many copper bars. And there we go. The first 2 parts of gear are equipped onto craft only. And these are the only 2 bits of gear we will have for a while. Considering most crafting pieces don't get very good up until you are around level 9 or 10 when you get your first greens. Now I'm going to just go pick up this quest. See, this is one thing they kept in retail, however they removed the tree. I believe it was the tree they removed, or at least moved it a bit further down. You can still just run up here without running all the way around. And as I said, there's a food crate. If it is something like tough jerky, that's brilliant because that can just add onto the stack and remove the amount of need for carrying it. However, it's Danasian blue, so that's just another 4 copper for me. Sorry, I'm a very quick map
Blood and thunder.
scroller. So we picked that up. And obviously over here is where you do canvas scrap, and that gives you a bag. But because I'm level 6, I'm going to go see what skills we can learn. At this level, I believe it's Thunderclap and Blood Rage, which should cost me around 4 silver. However, part of me thinks maybe getting a early 6-slot bag will be better for us than picking up something like Thunderclap. Thunderclap is only exclusively ever used when you're fighting multiple mobs, or Blood Rage just to make sure you get your battle shout going early.
Speak, friend.
Oh, I'm talking to the shaman trainer.
Never dull. Thrall, hull.
Oh no, it's parry at level 6, never mind, it's only 95 copper. Right, so I'll learn them both just because of how cheap it is.
What do you need?
And I'll pick up a small brown pouch at the same time as well. So there we go, we've increased our monetary capacity by allowing us to pick up more items and sell them. We've still got those rough sharpening stones, more food. And what we'll do next is head down here and we'll start dealing with the Kul Tiras sailors. But I think that is where we're going to leave today's episode at, and as it is quite late now, and we'll start filming again tomorrow before I have to go to work. But, you know, stick with us to see this campaign out of where we only use crafted items only, and see if we can make it all the way to level 70. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great night, and thank you for watching. Okay, bye.